coming up tonight. Gary says farewell to fire-resistant cable and his pyro tools, as we see the future of fire detection. We kick off the fantasy season in style, and there's struggles getting it up on the challenge wall.
Welcome to eFIXX TV, our fortnightly live stream here on Facebook and on YouTube. And tonight's show is the following. It is Ajax, fire alarms, iPhone. I think it's more of an iPhone than an alarm bell. But for the first time ever, I'm over the moon, because I never thought this would happen. We start the show with just the two of us sitting here, and then I say to myself, one day it will happen. I will sit next to something so incredibly beautiful that I can look at it and stare wonderfully at it and suggest that I'm mildly in love with this fire alarm system here, which will be in part 2, folks. You won't believe how incredibly gorgeous, and it does all your personal needs, folks, and it's simple to install. Now, talking of simple, I've got you with me as well, Gordon, which is excellent. So welcome back for this live stream, young man.
Welcome back.
Yes.
Welcome back.
Yes, we're back. We had a bit of a gap, haven't
Holidays,
we?
Gary.
We've had holidays and things like that, haven't we? Yes. Are you uber excited like I am?
I am actually, yeah. It's not, yeah, I mean, this is good. I mean, yeah, this is, we've been like blown away, yes. And we're going to dive into that back. We'll hold our fire back. We've learned a lot today as well, but yeah, a great system. We've got some great guests as well. I think they're across in the Greencable room.
Yeah, one's standing up already. He's back in there, look at that. So, as you look there, folks, I got pretty confused earlier on, because obviously we're doing the fantasy football. We're launching that, and you're going to see how we're doing in the league table and how eFIXX are doing. And I looked at it and thought we'd got the team from Ajax in, and when you look at the Italian in the suit, you can just imagine him running down a white chalk line, bellowing out his instructions. But then I looked at the other two and thought maybe they brought the seniors or maybe the coaching staff with him. But you corrected me that it isn't Ajax, it's actually Ajax.
It is Ajax.
And then when I popped into our toilet, I thought then we were talking about some sort of chemicals. Yeah. But we certainly aren't, folks. We've had a fantastic time today. And if we can get 50% of the information across to you and the audience, we'll be in a fantastic position. But we've got to bring them in. Let's bring in our team, shall we? Let's bring in the team from Ajax. Here they come. We've only got 2 of them coming in. Paul, would you like to take a seat next to me? Welcome. And Roberto, take a seat over there. We've got the prettier ones over on this side, we're suggesting, haven't we?
Yeah, slightly prettier. Slightly prettier.
Mature boy band getting back together there. Okay, Gordon. You were right in the back, though, weren't you? You were the one that couldn't dance, sing, or anything, weren't you? You were that far back.
Drums.
Okay. So, thank you very much for joining us today. We're going to give you 60 seconds to give us a little bit of an insight about yourselves, but the audience will like a little tweak, maybe about your electrical experience, because in a few moments they'll be gambling on who's going to be the fastest. Young Stallone over there, obviously, or young Stoneface over here. So it'll be one or the other. So that's where we go. Do you want to start with Paul? 60 seconds about yourself.
60 seconds about me. Okay, so I started my career in a military apprenticeship for Marconi's, and I then decided to go into security, which was 37 years ago. I don't look that old, I know. But then I went through my security installation, maintenance, servicing, management, sales, and then into product management for a very big national company. And then I joined an international business where we were developing international fire systems across the world. And I was always heavily involved with standards writing, standards creations. And I'm also a director of the Fire Industry Association as well, and heavily been involved with the FIA for many, many years, and also trying to share my knowledge across the younger generation as well. It's very important for me to pass down some of the knowledge to the new entrants into the industry. And then I joined Ajax 16 months ago, and there was a reason why I joined Ajax, is because I saw the technology that Ajax was bringing out, and I thought to myself, if we can bring some of that technology into the fire industry and I can be involved in that journey, it would be a great innovative solutions to the platform of fire, which is where I come from.
Okay, Gordon, bit of a whiff there, electrical, but when you mentioned the skill set that obviously Paul had got, what are you imagining his wiring skills would be like?
Well, Marconi, stuff like that, you know, but then obviously Marconi, but slipped into, security systems. They've got the stapler out, the little stapler that everyone has with a white painted stapler.
You go round the door frame regardless.
Round the door frame regardless of, or under the gripper rods.
That's it, yeah, that carpet lump. Okay, so we'll come back to your wiring skills in a few moments.
I'm sure we will.
See, Roberto, you're sitting over there. You're probably the most handsome fella we've ever had on this show, okay? But that won't mean you're going to be any quickness on the race wall. But give us a little bit about your background, slightly different.
Thank you, and thank you for allowing me to be here today with the eFIXX team. My name's Roberto Fiorentino. I'm the CEO of Croma Security Solutions Group. I've been brought up in the industry 43 years now. I've been working in security and fire. We are a premium partner with Ajax across the UK. There isn't much we don't do in the world of security. So whether it's locks, keys, safes, alarms, in CCTV, and there is a huge crossover as our industry is changing now. So I'm a thoroughbred expert in security.
Okay.
Sounds like people can ask some really difficult questions. We've got someone who does the standards, we've got applications expertise, ask those really difficult questions. And if people are wondering, some people down there getting a hashtag #1 next to them and stuff like that. And the current hashtag #1 is someone from Ajax UK, Pete Harris, is that
Pete Harris, yeah, one of our business development members. So Pete Harris is, he joined Ajax in the UK from the very, very beginning. He's a very, very good, strong engineer. But he's a great sales support team for his customers in the south and southwest, and he also looks up to Roberto's company as well.
All right. Well, he's currently top fan #1 in the chat. If you want to get in the chat, there, you have to bang in those comments, and you've got to unseat Pete Harris, and there's obviously a lot of regulars on there. Your friend Steve Skillen, who already says he's used some Ajax products. He's currently in South America, working, he says.
Oh, right, that's good then. So I've got a lot of time for that kid. And again, we've got to spend some time with him in Ireland. But Gordon, it's your section. What are you going to ask the audience to do, young man?
Well, it is obviously, we've got to assess the true wiring skills. Have we hoodwinked you, saying our guests are experts with a small cable stapler that only does 10mm cables max? Or have they got some real electrical skill in there? So it is your time. You've got to guess the time that they complete the Electricians Challenge in minutes and seconds. So if you think it's Roberto, put Roberto 1 minute 37 in there. If you think it's Pete, then put it down at 7 minutes 32.
Okay, so Paul or the Italian stallion.
Paul,
I was just going to save you there. I'm going to go in now. You'd have corrected me. I wouldn't do that. You got it wrong, Gordon. I don't want to dwell on it. You got the guest name wrong. It's been in since 12 o'clock. Okay. So is it the Italian stallion? Is it Paul, Pete? Anyone begins with a P? You can put that in as well to see who's going to be fastest on the race wall. That's what we're waiting for then. Once the 25 seconds is gone, we're going to go into those. So make sure you get your one and only guess in. And the winner will get a chance to win, a chance to speak to Jennifer on the telephone, and she will take your details, and therefore we can send you out a prize in the post. Now, if you're thinking of prizes and you want to win something today or in the next 38 weeks, you can also have an opportunity later on today when we speak to Joe, the fantasy football kid. He will tell you how you can win a tool from eFIXX every single week for the next 38 weeks. So that's worth getting involved in, and you don't have to play any football to win that prize. There's loads of great reasons to stay on. But first of all, let's roll the footage of the first race wall. Let's see who's up first. It's not a good sign if you're first usually. So here we go. Let's see who's up first. Unlucky Paul. Okay, so here we go. If we're looking at history and watch one of these live streams, you have no idea what's going to go on here. So we did these race walls, and you can see I actually recorded the first one and left the room, so I don't know how fast it is. Yes, those are my own legs, and we did pull the cable out first before we realised that obviously the cover needs to come off the socket front. And
glasses are on.
Yeah, well, we learnt from the mistakes of Roberto, who didn't wear his glasses the first time round and put us through some painful experiences. So when it got first time, no, we had a lot of refusals. You know, you're both of a reasonable age, and I imagine getting it up and holding it up was an issue for both of you, and you did demonstrate that. We've spotted it, folks. We know where we're going on that one. Remember the carpet. Mum and Dad in the 80s didn't have a lot of cash, a lot of tread gone on the old bottom two runs and threshold. Yes, that's just like the haircut. Now, you were pretty good at this, and you decided to use the tools. Okay, so away we go with those. And we're going to go in there. Yes, in with the strippers. Yep, so that's good. So happy days.
Concentration face on there.
Yeah, look at that.
Manicured nails.
Absolutely. But you knew your way around a consumer unit because you'd done a bit of garden wiring, hadn't you? You thought this was a little bit easier than steel wire armour.
Much easier.
Tag watch I noticed as well on there. You got completely mugged off on the wristwatches, I would suggest. Nice little watch, but obviously we're going to see a slightly better timepiece as we move forward. I'd imagine Delboy would have loved it. The lesser watch, we've got the absolute lesser watch as we look at the next one. So we're 3 connections in here and a fly lead away from doing this, and those legs, you can't help but see them. It does look like Dactarin's turned up for the older person there as I'm safariing it. The orange socks were rolled down. They're fully rolled up now because obviously Lewden and the orange socks every single week. We saw them got promoted to the Premiership, and and then we saw them got relegated 2 seasons on the trot. So the orange socks aren't very lucky, I would suggest. So you did this okay, didn't you? You weren't too bad down here. You were a dab hand with the old screwdriver. And I think for a first attempt, Paul, for a bloke who just really does fire alarms and a bit of home wiring, you did yourself quite proud of that. And again, I like the way you didn't use the handle, round it straight down to the bottom, and in you go. Neutral connection, line connection, and a CPC in the back box, and you'll be done. So come on, Paul. Was there any injuries you took on board during this? You threw your absolute body at it.
Yeah, well, I was going for the record, and one of your tools jammed, and
jammed between your
fingers and my,
and you still
absolutely,
pulled the trigger, didn't you?
Yeah, so this is 2 attempts on my time, so I threw the third one away.
You threw the third one away.
Yeah,
so there's going to be a lot of excuses, because you're going to say at the end of this, if I only had one more go.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you cut yourself and gave up.
They're on your own fingers.
Yeah,
not
I kept going.
Right, we're nearly there, Gary.
We are. Whoa, hang on, we have a bit of a refusal there. Yep, so notice the one watch we've got here. We'll see a couple in a minute. That weren't too bad as we go. So we know the second time's usually the best time, so Roberto's up next. Did you keep your jacket on? No, jacket's off, folks.
Jacket's off.
Wow, bit casual. That is some stance, that is, folks. The Italian's in there, so screws off on the top. You can just spot it there, folks. That's a family heirloom before anyone gets too excited. That was handed down from Grandad. Grandad, obviously, a long time ago, has sent that gold watch down the family tree, and as you've got 3 sons, I'd imagine there's going to be a bit of a war over who's going to receive that in the future, unless the oldest son cops a lot, as it always happens. So up we go. Will this go up first time? Absolutely not. Now, if we were showing it in its entirety, as I was, nice watch, as I was showing it in its entirety, we had a lot of attempts. To one point, I nearly put the camera down to help you, because this was mildly embarrassing, wasn't it? And we're, a full Maloney. It's only gone and done a Maloney with those natches.
Look at that, that's great.
Wow,
Yeah,
I would
like a
imagine
lunge.
we've spent some money on those ivories and we risked it all to make sure we could get the Electricians challenge done. Right, we're into the top consumer. You've spotted it again, folks. Yes, it is the Stallone. There he is, look at that. I know some people have said that it looks like we're going to be selling antiques halfway through the show, but we're not. It is a full Sylvester Stallone. I'm in there. Look at that. He's not just stripping, he's wrenching the PVC off. We're in and we're making a final connection. A bit of Brucey there, wasn't it? Come on, a bit of Brucey. With the chin up there, Brucey. So we're in there. And we're
Plenty of copper.
yeah, absolutely.
Bit of a twist on there.
This watch is in shot again. Look, oh, bit of shaking. In we go. Yeah, good. Caffeine was low here. They'd been here an hour and a half and we hadn't offered them anything to eat, drink or show them where the toilet was. We were that engrossed when Paul started talking. So I'm going to pull it back. I told you not to, but you were so adamant that you wanted to make a nice job of it. Back out with those wrenching strippers. Didn't go for the automatic ones. I would suggest it's a whiff of a DIY. This is an electrician at heart. I would suggest here DIYers, people who wire their own garden. Automatic wire strippers is the first thing. There's that watch again. So, yeah, it's all good. No beads of sweat. We didn't have any darker blue patches on that shirt. This bloke doesn't perspire. He just gets on with life, okay, folks? That jacket went straight back on afterwards. He was feeling a little cool, I would suggest. It's the Italian blood in him, I would say. So we're 3 connections away from a completion. We're now checking. There was a suggestion that glasses were needed. That's why you wore yours, Paul, didn't you? You were straight on with the bins. You weren't going to make that mistake.
No messing.
Oh, there it is. Look at that timepiece, folks. Yeah, great. Yeah, if only Del Boy had found that in his garage, he would have had more than 6 million. I didn't mean... Oh! A bit of a gel in there. Or was it a hair mousse? I suppose it's... What would it be? A wax? A foam? I don't know. What do the Italians use? Probably some sort of animal product, I would suggest, splatter all over them. We're 1 connection away from stopping here. We did have the world's largest stance, and I think we missed that out.
No, it was earlier on.
Was it? We had this huge lunge. I mean, full-on lunge.
You're known as a Roberto from this point
Yeah,
forward.
absolutely, if you lunge into it. So this connection go, we had to split the CPCs because one fell out. We won't mention the fact that during this part of the job, the line conductor popped out of the circuit breaker, so you got a 20-second penalty on this run. But it might not be your fastest run because you get 3 attempts at the race war. And would you suggest that this, Roberto, was your fastest run?
I think it could have been, but it clearly wasn't.
Oh, no, it wasn't. It felt a lot. I told you at one point we started at 8 o'clock, didn't I? Because it was that slow. There we go. We're all relieved to see the back of that. Okay. But that doesn't mean anything, does it? It doesn't mean that you've got a little bit of DIY in the garden and Roberto's seen the inside of a sunbed. Okay, it doesn't matter, does it, when it comes to the actual times, okay? Gordon?
People are appreciating the tie.
They
I think you're the first person in a tie.
Is it? Yeah. Is it?
Yeah.
I would have left the jacket on.
Yeah.
We did have one, what bloke did it in a suit? Boyd once did it in a suit, didn't he? You would have been the second person to complete it in a suit.
Should have left the jacket on.
Trust me, Boyd wasn't as easy on the eye as you are, young man. So, right then, I think we find some times out. What's the consensus? Who's won?
Well, going into it, not Roberto.
Okay.
But we'll see. That was going into it. That was before actually people even seen it.
Right.
It was close.
Let's have a look.
It was close.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look.
So, we're over here. G-Dog's going to pick one out randomly. Who are you going with? Don't show them. Don't show them. I don't want to see it. Are we over here? Never.
It's close. It's close.
We didn't make it over there.
We'll start with Roberto.
That's electrician's territory. Who are we starting with?
Roberto.
Roberto. Okay, so you know you're not on this one. So what number do you think it starts with?
I think it starts with a 5.
Now get realistic. Your first race was 9 minutes something. So to get to 5, you'd have to half it.
Well, we did nearly half it. Let's go for 6 then, shall we?
6. Would you be pleased with 5?
Yes, if it
I'd
was
be startled. I might fall over. Someone might need to get... If this is 5, I'm going to drop to the floor.
It does start with a 5.
No, it starts with a 5. That is incredible. From where we started, I mean, that is just incredible.
It's not up here, actually. So you actually want to be near the bottom of this
you
book.
do.
This is fastest, actually. So this is, actually...
That gap's there by luck, by the way, folks. I haven't moved anything.
I'm going to move there. Bruce, we'll like
this is good. You're going down the board.
Yeah, we've got to get Dan McAdam, Rewide Edge. They went to Kang.
Still going.
Yeah.
Godchild.
So that just slipping in there.
That is brilliant.
5 minutes 23. Rick risked the O off there, but I've put it back in.
Okay, that is
5 minutes 23.
well done. That is, from where we started, that was a phenomenal time. Yes. Yeah. I told you to get quick. Look at that. Look at that. That's a position. Look at me. I'm in 5 minutes. Oh, got a lot to beat there, I would suggest.
I have, yeah. He was good. He was good.
He was good. Yeah.
And he looked good. That was the.
Well, we know he looks good. We know he looks good. Right, so what sort of time would you like?
I'd be happy with a 5 as well.
Okay, all right, okay.
So
we've got another spelling mistake.
No, I'm putting B on for blood.
Okay.
For,
and a red pen
blood,
as well.
yeah,
red
blood on
pen,
this.
so I can do that. Now, I noticed I put this here a few weeks ago, so we didn't lose all the marker pens, and there's only 2 left. So we need to have a little bit of a confession as to who's removed all the dry white markers.
We're not on this side, are we?
We are on this side, actually, so that means you are in better than 512.
Need to move my stuff out of the way.
Yes, we've got.
Oh, look at this, folks. Look at this.
There.
Bit of Italian leather down there, folks. Look at that. That's it. There we go. There we go. Look, the pens are coming back as well. Rick's coming with a confession. Right. Are we low or are we high? Have I got to stand up?
We're low. But let's just chivvy around here. John Ford there, Adam Smith.
Are we in there?
We are actually did this in 5 minutes and 2.
Well, that is incredible. Well done. That's good. That's electricians' territory, isn't it? There's some electricians down there. Yeah, it's good. Well done. Well done. Yours was sensational from where you started. I mean,
for an old man, you mean?
No. Just from where you started, you could. No. It was brilliant. That mountain. So hopefully somebody's going to get the phone number. They'll get a chance to ring Jenny on the burner phone. Let's just reiterate whether we climbed or inclined, okay? Because this bit's funny. Okay, so let's bring this one in. It's time to work out whether Roberto and Paul were inclined, or declined. Did they take the house tools or did they bring their own extensive toolkit? And as you can see, the light is bright above me and it looks like you've been under a few bright lights, maybe tanning ones in the past, Roberto. Were you inclined or declined?
I was inclined, sir.
Yeah, so you took the Klein tools. How do you think you got on with those?
Pretty poorly, but yeah, other than that, we'll see from the time, won't we?
We will. So, Paul, how did you think you got on first of all?
I thought I did all right.
Did you lose any blood?
I lost quite a bit of blood.
And which tools did you lose the blood onto?
On the Klein.
So you were Klein. So there we go. Over to the race wall. So thank you very much for the continued support from Klein there for us. So that's brilliant. And obviously you found the tools incredibly painful on the third run because you
they were pretty sharp, yeah,
which is good. We like a sharp tool. Okay, so I don't often work with sharp tools, but obviously it's nice to have one around when you can. So the phone's already gone, so someone's already ran in with that winning time. Hopefully we'll find that out in a moment. But shall we just find out a little bit more for our audience that have no idea what Ajax is, or is it Ajax?
Ajax.
Ajax, okay. Let's go with Ajax then. I didn't think you were a footballer.
No. But about Ajax, well, it's a very large international business. Started in 2011 and now has grown to be one of the most leading security companies in Europe. And we have over 4,100 employees. And there are 290,000 professional Ajax users around the world. Wow. And yeah, it's just growing from strength to strength.
So we're just starting that journey in this country with Ajax compared to our European friends or global friends.
Yeah, I mean, Ajax has been in the UK for 4 to 5 years now, and it's growing reputation, it's growing its professional support, but around the rest of the world, Ajax, yes, is doing phenomenally well.
And you took that product on. Obviously, you've got your whole entire business pinned to the products that you install within commercial, domestic, whatever you were installing in. So what made you choose the brand?
I think after all the years that we've been through all of the manufacturers and seen the innovations, it's so important that you have reliability, you have innovation, latest technology. And Ajax as an organisation have moved in really, really quickly through their innovation from 4 years ago in the UK. We adopted the product, we started training everybody in this product. And what you're going to see later on from Paul is the new fire technology. But of course our business is security, and now you see how they're going to merge together, because you're going to use one platform to do CCTV, to do your alarm systems and your fire systems, and you'll see how those are all going to come together. But for us the most important thing is the client at the end of the day is providing them with fast, efficient service that we can trust. We know we're not going to have high-level failures. It's going to do exactly what it says it's going to do, because anyone that puts a security system in or fire system, they just want it to work. They don't need the headaches. And it's really important, some of our high-end clients, that we put technology in that we know we can trust is going to deliver that to them.
Yeah, and you gave the analogy about fancy lights when they come out and they could be smart and all the rest of it, and then kept falling over, giving issues. You don't want that. You just want it to work and be simple.
Because security is there to do a job.
Yep.
Fire is there to do life safety.
Yep.
And if you unplug a smoke head because it's a nuisance to you, it's not there to save your life when you need it. And the same with the security system. So many people in the UK have fire safety and security systems, and they don't utilise them. Why? Because they haven't been burnt. They haven't had a break-in. But a lot of our clients that have had attacks or fires, they never forget to put security in place and fire safety protection. And it's just the way we're built as humans, isn't it? You put your hand in the oven and burn, you learn the lesson. So it's a shame that it comes to that, but as humans, that's how we behave. We want to fit technology that we know is going to do the job, and by making it easy to use, and that's what Ajax have been so clever at. They've made it work from one interface that's so simple that people can utilise it. That's the whole reason that makes life easy.
Yeah, and it's really important to us. This whole fire campaign, similar to what we did on Talk, and what we've done on Safe Isolation. We've taken this fire campaign on probably 6 months ago. What are we finding with the research from the team and the stuff we've got coming out in the future? What have we found, Gordon?
It's quite embarrassing, really, is what we've found. Now, we have a lot of prejudged the video, but we've recently done a survey of, let's just say, you think family, friends, neighbours, what sort of condition are the people we love? Yeah. What sort of condition are their smoke alarms in, Gary? Tell us about your sister.
My sister, yeah, so obviously she's got that guy off YouTube in her life, even though she never watches it, doesn't care what I do for a living and all the rest of it. But allegedly, I'm that electrician that also does YouTube videos, and I went round as part of this campaign, nothing else, part of this campaign, and I went and looked at her smoke detector system, got up there, you could tell from looking at it from just a little way that it wasn't that new. She didn't smoke, but it was yellow, okay, and it was out of date, so it had to do 10 years to get to the out-of-date time. At the same time, I was watching Anthony Joshua pick up an Olympic gold in 2012. Oh, so it was out of date for 13 years after it expired after 10. It had been in 23 years, and it was incredibly embarrassing for me. But that didn't stop there. Everywhere I went, next door neighbour went in there, checked his one downstairs. I knew it'd be out of date. I could tell you the date. The other two were missing. He'd taken them off because they were chirping. So he'd knocked them two off. The guy next door, who could cause me a big issue if he has a fire, has got one alarm downstairs that's out of date by 8 years and two missing. That's what we're up against. Okay?
But he's never had a fire, has he?
Well, no. No. And again, it goes back to you haven't had a burger, and we'll come back to that. You haven't had an attack. Those things, but this whole thing, and we're trying to raise awareness across the whole industry, so it's using LinkedIn and My College Connections, is to get people to check.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, we all want to save lives.
It's the education.
It's education. However, your system is beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay, and it's over there. We're going to look at your residential stuff. Now, that's brand new, is that right?
That's brand new,
That's the first time it's ever going to be seen. In part two, no one's ever seen this. Is the launch, effectively, yes?
Yeah, pretty much within the last few weeks. Yes, of course, absolutely. It's the first time.
First time anyone's ever seen this.
First time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well done.
On a live YouTube channel.
Yeah, well done, Pete.
Live on a YouTube channel.
Okay, and then we've got the residential one over there. So that's probably some of our audience. We've all got them at home, so we'll look at the residential first. We'll go to commercial second. Okay, yeah, you happy with that? Yeah, let's have a little look at that then. Okay, well, let's have a look at that. I've got hand cam. Hopefully G-Dog will help me as well. Let's have a quick look. Try and get it as well as I can. And then the black one. Okay, as we go down. It's incredibly beautiful. Okay. I'm not talking about Sly over there now. I'm talking about.
I thought it looks like a Apple TV.
It does. Yeah, the box you have at the back of the TV, or you can have there. It looks gorgeous. Okay, so let's start off what we're most familiar with: mains wired detector.
Absolutely, mains powered 10-year sealed battery systems. Okay. So obviously, mains powered is locked. We unlock it to get it removed.
Okay.
And we have the device itself. Okay. This one happens to be an AC heat detector. Okay. And we have here, this one's fitted with the cable trunk, which is the surface mounted optional extra to add to the base to make the installation very, very easy and discreet.
Okay, so this will be mains wide, so we can pop it off.
Yeah, we can pop it off.
We're seeing a 3-core, and obviously I can only see a twin cable here. So if our system had a 3-core cable in there, do we just ignore the interconnecting one?
No, there's no 3-core required on this.
If we had one and we were changing it out,
you would just ignore it.
Yes, that's
absolutely.
it. So we would ignore that connection.
Yeah, and there's also room for additional Wago terminals in there should you need it if there is any additional connections required.
Okay, so there it is. So pop that back on.
I will.
And the reason behind having a lock then on it, what's the thinking behind that?
Well, it is mains powered. It's part of the requirements to have a locking mechanism on the mains. Okay. So you need a special tool to remove it because it is mains powered.
And the battery life within here?
10 years, sealed.
And it's sealed. Okay, yes. That is sealed. Now, as I look at it, this is a heat one. Obviously, we've got smoke here. Back in my day, old days, ionisation was a thing. What's happened there?
Well, it was back in my day as well. Well, ionisation detectors, which were phenomenally good technology, but obviously not very good for the environment. So they've been phased out over a number of years. Exceptionally good detectors for detecting fast flaming fires, but not good for protecting your escape routes.
Right. Okay.
Because escape routes need optical technology because it's your visual escape route. And with the optical technology, it measures obscuration levels and it makes sure that you use optical detectors in your escape routes.
And I think we've got a little video clip to show in a little while where we can also distinguish that between the killer. And I'm not talking about killing people, I'm talking about killing down a conversation. When we talk to this guy over here, who's holding a camera up at me, because he's got a real issue in his house with steam. Not if you've got a steam problem. Yeah, okay, you got a steam problem. Yeah, so we're going to talk about how that can be solved as well.
We're going to talk about it. A big problem in this industry.
Okay, got a black one. So can I have anything in white and black? Is that the colour?
Anything in white and black.
Yeah, lovely.
Absolutely. Ajax colours. And this one here is heat, smoke, optical smoke with carbon monoxide built in.
Right.
So obviously carbon monoxide is a big issue within residential sectors where you have fossil fuel burning appliances and obviously anything to do with carboniferous fires or incomplete combustion, so which produces carbon monoxide. Having it in a complete system there means that you can actually have less products in there, but you can mount those on the ceiling within 3 metres of your appliances, your carbon monoxide appliances. So you've got full compliance there.
Mains wide again?
Mains powered again, yes.
Okay, this one here's got no lights on it, so what's the problem?
Well, it will blink regularly, but this is a 10-year sealed battery system.
Okay.
And if you look at the grading within BS 5839 Part 6, which is your residentials, you have a grade D1, which is your mains power grading.
Yes.
And then this is a grade F1, which is your 10-year sealed battery system for Part 6.
So I can't get at the battery in there. And what was the thinking, just briefly, the thinking behind not being able to get to a battery?
Well, it was... There were instances where there were people that were using batteries to put in their children's toys or using it for any other purpose. So the idea of having a sealed battery is that takes that problem away. Yeah. And people don't take the batteries out of a life safety device and use them in something else.
And there are instances where people unfortunately did that and then had a problem.
Yeah, they had a problem. And it's quite easy to take the batteries out, put it back on the ceiling and forget, and then you'll put yourself in danger.
Okay.
So eliminating that problem cures it.
Yeah, okay. So again, it's human that we're trying to overcome those moments where we're human. Now, because this is battery powered and this is mains, we've got the ability for them to talk to each other?
Absolutely. You can mix and match the battery powered and the mains on the same system. Yep. And you can have up to 50 of them on their own system, interconnected to.
Is your house big enough to have 50?
Roberto's is.
I was just about to say that. I bet you know someone, don't you?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
50 ain't quite enough.
Not quite enough, yeah. But you can have them as a standalone solution. So you can have them as standard connected, interconnected as their own system. And then we add the hub, which we bring the intelligence to the system.
So in my property, I could have some original wired ones.
Yep.
And then obviously I've put on the library, the swimming pool, and the, I don't know, the stables. Like
Stables,
like
of course.
Roberto did.
Absolutely,
Okay,
yeah.
so and we've got that, and then all of a sudden I could do them wireless ones, couldn't I? I could just...
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Interlink them all together.
Yeah, and so you don't need these ones that are mains to be linked together. You could have a standalone local power supply to them, yes?
Well, that's right. You can have the battery operated and you can have the mains ones, and then they can all work on the same system.
Yep.
One activates, they all activate. Because if you're upstairs asleep and you have a problem downstairs, you need the notification throughout the whole house. So interconnecting is very important in life safety.
Okay, and then you talked about this thing here, the hub.
Yep.
So explain to me what the hub is.
So the hubs is Ajax platform of communication to your mobile technology and to monitoring stations and the outside world. So we're bringing an end-to-end solution here. So we're taking the notification of the device and we're actually transmitting that information through to the user. So you're okay if you're in the house and you can hear that there's a problem. But if you're away from home and you want to know what's going on in your house, the hub gives you the full details. So you've got full asset management of the system through the hub. You can dial in, you can see everything that's going on in the system itself. Okay. Not only that, there are various ways of connecting to this. So Ajax has SIM cards built in to the system, backup battery technology inside it well. It can also be Wi-Fi connected, and also you can connect it to your Ethernet.
Okay. Now, I'm thinking now, I've had a notification in my pocket that just says my building is burning down. Okay, that's what it's telling me. But when we see, as the system can be developed, we can actually link it to cameras that then within maybe a PIR sensor for an alarm system and things like that.
Yes.
So we can bring, so we're now bringing a security system, a camera and a heat or smoke detector together in order that then not only have we been notified there might be a problem, but we can then see that it isn't a problem, which will be the best reassurance.
Yeah, visual verification and SEER formatting and verification. So that means if you have a smoke detector that goes into an alarm condition followed by a heat detector, you'll get dual notification of those devices activating.
Right.
Now, bearing in mind, you leave your house, your alarms, if they're not connected to this kind of technology, you'll get audible warnings in your building only. But visual verification of fire is very important.
Okay, and we'll come back to that because that's a big change. So make sure you stay on for that because that was something when you walked in and told us that and we were like wobbling straight away. Well, we didn't know that. We were a great start. Okay, anything else we just want to highlight on here before we look at some video clips?
Yes, we've got we'll also be able to connect to scenarios where we can use the ecosystem to shut down mains, switch on lights. We can remotely silence systems from low level with the Ajax hush device.
So that's, say, wheelchair user can't actually
if you
deactivate,
the actual detectors themselves have a test button here, which will do it. And also that's a dual button, so that uses it for silencing as well. But if you need to go low level, for ease of use, for resetting and silencing, then you can use the hush button, which is programmable. It's also portable, being obviously with Ajax jeweler technology.
Okay. Again, that's incredibly neat as well, so that's quite...
Absolutely.
Okay, so again, that makes logical sense, doesn't it? If you can't reach up for it, maybe you're elderly, etc. Can it be used for anything else? Just a quick brief overview?
Yeah, it's very flexible. This is one of Ajax's devices which could be used to program any sort. It could be used to turn on power sockets. It could be used to activate water flow systems. It could turn off the Ajax water stops. It can turn on the water stops, so you can use it to control water valves and anything really. Okay. Any scenarios you can come up with. And that's the beauty of Ajax. With regards to any problem that's out there, we see very ingenious engineers using this technology to solve problems.
Okay. I'm in. It's just, it looks amazing. No one's going to deny that this system wouldn't be hard to sell to anyone. And then we'll look at the intelligence that you can build into it as we move forward. We've got a couple of video clips. I'm interested in the one for the steam because this is Rick's biggest bugbear. He's got a notification on his phone when his kids are having a bath. Okay, that's what he gets. So let's bring that in and have a little look. So we'll have to talk ourselves through the next piece of content as we go through. So here we are. Bit of nice. The branding's awesome, and it's absolutely awesome. So as we're looking inside one of your Detectors, here we go then. So that's a list of what we know it can do. That's fine, we're okay with that one. And then it's going to segment it out or break it apart from us. Now, the big thing is you usually have to take a hoover into these. Do you have to with yours?
No, the design of the chamber is to keep small particles inside the chamber for analysis, but keep the heavy smoke particles outside. And we're using dual spectrum optical sensors. So this is blue and red light technology, which looks at the different light spectrums. And the blue is the device looking at the steam particles, and the red is the one looking at the smoke particles. And we do an analysis through our haze flow algorithm, and that reduces false alarms to steam. And we've almost eradicated that. This is the chemical carbon monoxide sensor, which has a 10-year life as well, matched to the detector. And this is our built-in alarm sounder. And of course, the two versions that are available, which is the RB replaceable battery and the SB, the sealed battery.
Okay, yeah, it's got it all going on, hasn't it, really? Lovely design. Love the thing that you talked about now with the escape route. So if we're thinking dwellings, we're predominantly, first and foremost, putting them in our hallways.
Yeah.
So just explain the difference between the detector system in there and what it needs to see in order to aid the escape.
Well, it's an optical type technology, which means it's looking at levels of obscuration. And the levels of obscuration within the standards in both the residential and the commercial side is looking at the dangers of the escape route. Now, the escape route's the most important part of any building. And when you have escape routes, you need to protect those, whether that be from compartmentation, whether it be from fires above or from within. The fire escape route is the most important part of any building. And obviously, optical type technology is designed to activate early enough to allow safe escape through the building.
Okay. Said there the range.
Yeah.
1,700 metres.
1,700
Do you have
metres.
to have a booster at your house to make sure you get to the final one? Is that what happens down there, Roberto?
Ajax has an astonishing range compared to most other technologies, and in fact, in free space, you'll see it go a lot further. But of course, radio is subject to construction. What's in the construction, thickness of walls. So if you're doing a stately home and you've got several feet of walls, yes, you do have to use boosters, but it's probably the longest range technology we've seen in the marketplace operating, and we occasionally put a couple of range extenders in, but we've done big factories, possibly with 2 range extenders. Big, you know.
So you go to the high-end clients, okay, so you're there, you've got these footballers and all the rest of it, and you're there trying to sell a system in. Do they also go, it's wireless? Because I know from the generation I was at, when people were fitting the first generation of wireless burglar alarms, I was like, really? You're relying on a couple of AAs?
Yes.
So what's the positives from your business, and what does the end user think of a wireless system?
I think at the end of the day, the clients come to Croma because they trust the expertise, the years of expertise and the type of clients we deal with. I understand some people have a phobia about using wireless. I'm completely satisfied because we've fitted enough of it to see the results. We can see exactly how it works, and it performs faultlessly, tirelessly. And it's about explaining that with confidence to your clients to say, this is why you should use wireless. But of course, wireless technology has another benefit. When I started in the 80s, early 80s, and we were wiring everything. You ran a wire to everything because
Round
wireless.
the door frame.
We didn't run the round door frames, but yes, I get that. You know, things have shifted on. In those days, our labour costs were very, very low, and our equipment costs were high. We have a complete reversal of that, and what we have to get used to globally now is that the cost of manpower is the problem to the client. Having wireless technology removes so many layers of complexity, and because Ajax have such an intuitive learning and programming, we can pre-program clients' systems up very, very quickly. And other manufacturers, we're spending ages pressing buttons on keypads, trying to set up scenarios, trying to set up sensors to work at night time only and daytime. It really is straightforward. Make no mistake, there's an education part here. You've got to train your staff, and that's where Croma really hits the ground running, because we're experts in the product. So when we're dealing with our electrical contractors, whether it's that are working on a private client's property, sometimes they will put the cabling in for the elements of the systems where cabling is required, and when it's Wi-Fi, we just come in and put those bits up. But what we do is we give those electricians comfort that we are experts at what we're doing. Here's the certification. By all means, sell it as your system via Croma. We will look after your client and make you professional in the delivery of commercial, residential, fire and security systems. So yeah, the evolution is the change, what we talked about earlier.
Yeah, they weren't here for that, were they? So yeah, no, that's good. So again, that got us, didn't it? That all of a sudden the cost is in the labour.
Yes.
Well, like you said, the van to get them there, that they might crash, the sick pay they might have, and the holidays they might take, which are all acceptable things of having a human in the business.
Yes.
But obviously, if you put the technology in that doesn't need all that effort and grunt, think of the end user. That high-end house that wants that upgrade,
yes.
You've got to lift floorboards.
Yes.
You haven't got to interface with the actual fabric of the building.
All of those things.
Yeah, it's just
all of those things.
A complete win, and
Yes.
you believe it's incredibly reliable, as you wouldn't be fitting it.
Absolutely, and we've fitted so much of this now, and we've pushed the boundaries with Ajax. We've got a very, very close relationship to be able to talk to them in the Ukraine about a particular scenario, how programming it, and we're doing some of the firsts with the technology. And yeah, it's great to be able to give input to see things develop. And they're so receptive to ideas because they've got such a massive research development team. You give them an idea, they pick it up, run with it, and they make it work. But one of the things that we didn't touch on is, of course, not only do you have all this wireless technology, it has this high security transmission through the application that we use in our office, and it means that we know every second of the day every single device that's out there and its condition. We know what its battery strength is, we know whether it's gone offline, whether it's got a problem. So communication is key here to maintaining good fire safety and security systems, and I've never seen anything that does it as well as this does it, or close to it.
Sure, he's good, isn't he? I'm glad you brought him in. That's
I'm
it.
glad
Drop the mic, let's walk.
I'm glad I brought him in.
Just something from the viewers here, just picking up, you've added the hub to the system.
Yes.
Does that mean we're elevating, people are used to smoke alarms that'll interlink and things like that. Now you can remote monitor the system.
Yes, you can.
So could I send that to a third party? People have asked, what about vulnerable people? What about, obviously, if you...
Yes, you can.
Absolutely you can.
I think with the system that we developed, it is scalable to huge housing associations which have got hundreds of thousands of portfolio of systems, can be managed from one platform. So now not only have we got small systems we can do larger premises, we can do complex buildings which are HMOs and social housing, but we can manage large portfolios of housing associations. Now we can do their asset management, their risk mitigation, the actual diagnosis of things that are happening on site. So, you're having problems with them. You have the life safety responsibility of buildings with many different residents inside. You have that life safety responsibility. A lot of this now can take that mitigation and that risk away by monitoring and proving that things are working and they're there intact. And should they be going wrong, you have the ability then to contact your clients in there and notify them there is a problem that's wrong. Now, this is a life safety asset.
Right, so 100 properties, housing associations,
Yes.
They know what's happening at each of their detectors.
Yes. If they want to, we can set the system up.
Yes.
So if they took one off the ceiling, which does happen, folks, if they take one off the ceiling because it was chirping, first of all, they knew the battery was running low, and then they'd know they're taking it off the
They'd
ceiling.
know the battery was going low before that chirping occurred, so they could prevent that from happening.
Right.
Secondly, if the device was removed, we know that it's been removed. Now, if in an HMO situation where you've got life safety for different people, if you've got a risk to a property that's taken their fire safety down, that also poses a risk to your adjacent neighbours in that building. Now, we've got a duty of care here, so having this ability to monitor and manage your assets and mitigate your risk for life safety is very important.
But that's without the use of any cameras. That's just knowing what's happening at a detector level.
Exactly, yeah.
Wow, that is for managing risk. That's a different level, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not only can we do that, we can check the wireless strengths. We can do remote testing as well, so we're able to test the devices from a remote place.
Right.
This can assist with some of the difficulties in testing devices. It's not a replacement for real testing the devices, but in some places it's almost impossible to get into. But there is an option now to do remote testing.
Yeah, you got me there. Yeah, I'm all in on that one. Gordon, what else is coming through on the questions?
Quite a bit. There's people do quite a bit of social housing, so I can can already see those advantages. I mean, obviously, you're dealing with lots of clients. Does the look of the product sell it sometimes? Because, I mean, I put it out there, a lot of existing smoke alarms look a little bit agricultural sometimes.
Yeah, they absolutely do, but you've already said this right at the beginning, Gary, about it's a very sexy product. It looks good. It is good. It ticks all the boxes. But, we're just looking at that detection over there. In a minute, you're going to start looking at the fire panel. And look at the alarm keypad. I don't know if everyone's
bring
happy.
Do you want to touch it again for us as I'm holding two things? So there you go, that. So that is an alarm keypad. Just tell me quickly how long the battery lasts in this?
This device, so we have, with Ajax, we have two versions of systems. On the security side, this is the wireless version, which is your grade 2 wireless systems for security. Ajax has the Fibra wired, so the grade 3 high-risk applications for your jewellers, for your ATMs, for your banking commercial world. So Ajax has a solution for every kind of risk out there. So this is a jeweller device, which is a wireless keypad. We have a wired grade 3 system as well. So wirelessly, this keypad would work for 1.5 years on its own, but you can add a 12-volt, 24-volt supply to it, and you can mitigate those battery replacements on the keypads. Keypads used very frequently, so that's why you would do it.
But that's an incredible amount of time.
Absolutely,
A year and a half.
Of course, yeah. For a touchscreen device, which is a high current. But this is also not just you've got access via the fobs and the cards, the Ajax readers, and this device also can control scenarios within your home automation. So Ajax has home automation, and that can be controlled from your keypad as well.
Yeah, and we're going to build up some of the layers, I think, with what we can do with the system, because you've got nearly everything in your own property because you like to trial it anyhow. But we're only going to take our audience on a certain level of this journey. But don't be fooled that all your products can't all come under the same ecosystem, whether it be commercial or domestic, as we go through. So it's incredibly powerful. Gordon, what next?
Now, obviously, a lot of people, Ajax, new to the UK market, certification. People obviously we look on a well-known online retailer, and there's loads of smoke alarm systems coming in there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You're always a bit nervous about where's this stuff coming from.
Yeah, absolutely. Certification is the most important thing. Ajax has a massive certification team. Certification for Ajax is worldwide. We're dealing with America, Canada, the Middle East, Italy, Spain, France, the Nordics, all of these very, very certification-rich countries. In particular, the residential FireProtect 2 range has got full BSI certification, not only to the construction products regulations and the BSI certification, British standards, but to the UK CA certification as well. Ajax also worked very, very closely with BSI to receive the Kite Mark certification, which is a quality mark way above what the requirements are of the product standards themselves. Very important. And it's actually illegal to supply fire alarm equipment into the European Union and in the UK without third-party certification to the construction products regulation. Not only that, we took cybersecurity very, very seriously. Ajax is about privacy, cybersecurity and protection and encryption. We do not want any breaches in our security. So we actually got this product tested, cyber tested by the BSI, and the BSI issued the PSTI cyber certification, the first one in the world to this product line. And that's testament to the team in Ajax to actually produce firsts all the time.
And you said it's illegal to sell the stuff online that's not out? So
with fire, under the construction products regulation, it's illegal to place products into the European Union and the UK without that certification.
But we're not suggesting they are, but maybe some people could sneak them out there. What happens if you bought it and fitted it?
Well, if you distributed it in the European Union and it wasn't certified, you would be committing an offence.
Okay.
That means that down the chain, anybody buying a product and installing it is also committing offence under the construction products regulation. This was a change when the CPD, which was the construction products directive, it went to a regulation. And that embodied in all the Europeans' legal systems about compliance with products, in particularly products that meet attestation level 1, which is the highest level of which fire does.
Okay, and I'm sure your clients are benefiting from that, aren't they? You've got that peace of mind that all of that sits behind the Ajax brand.
Yeah, there's absolutely no way you can fit something that's not fully accredited and compliant, because everyone's relying on us to do exactly that for them.
Yeah, absolutely, and I agree with that, because that would be your problem then. I've got another video as well to come up with as well, Gordon. Is there anything you want to go with first?
Well, we'll try. I don't know whether to do the video or do the trial first, because I've got a security sensor here. Now we've touched on obviously this. I mean, this is straying a little bit beyond fire initially, but this integrates with the Ajax security system, and people may not be aware. If you people say, okay, the alarm can be remote monitored, but what we're seeing, you mentioned increasingly, just because an alarm's remote monitored doesn't mean the fire service are guaranteed to turn up. They want another clue. Yeah.
Sorry, hang on. So I've got a link system. We've got a similar one with an alarm system, haven't we? So I've got a linked fire system that goes back to somebody that says, I'm having a problem, and they're not going to come out, or potentially not going to come out. Is that true?
There's been a change in the way the fire authorities are responding, and certainly a number of them are now going to be declining electronic signals unless they have a verification that they're attending a real event. Now, that hasn't rolled out across all fire authorities yet, but some significant ones have made this big step. So in order for us to continue providing service to somebody who's on holiday and their house is on fire, we now have to have some kind of visual verification. Now, if you're lucky enough to live with a neighbour who sees the flames and phones through, that will do the job. Yeah. If you don't, this is where the interface, and I mentioned earlier when we started this conversation, how the merging of fire is coming together with security. We're already fitting sensors in people's homes that take photos to verify that there is a human in there or there isn't, so that the monitoring station or the client, if they choose to monitor their own system, can assess whether they have a problem. We can now take that very same Ajax sensor and use the camera to help verify that the fire is real or not real. So this is where you start seeing the fire and the security coming together into one holistic, application.
Yeah, and I can see that from, most of us probably are in that, we've got neighbours. We're probably all, nearly all of us are in that position, but you're working with clients who maybe haven't got so many neighbours.
Yes.
And obviously, and their property might be worth a few shilling, okay? Yes. So, of course, if it was on fire, they'd want to be obviously notified so they can secondly verify it, and that'd be a big change. But it makes sense, doesn't it? How many times you see blue lights going down the road, all the ladies are stopping to look at the firefighters.
It doesn't matter what the value of the property is.
No, it doesn't. But
because you're living in a row of terraced houses and one of them's on fire. Guess what? The neighbours are going to go on fire. So we really want to know as fast as possible, get a brigade out there to a real event to mitigate the damage and the loss as quickly as possible.
Of all properties.
Of all properties.
That's great. But that was the biggest change. You walked in and bombed us with that one straight away, didn't you? Straight out of the bat.
It was like not straight away. We
didn't have a drink though, did we?
No, we didn't have a cup of tea. That was what I was looking for.
It's a big shame, really, because as I say, I used to work in a factory where it was a monitored alarm system.
Okay.
It used to go off quite regularly because we stand all sorts of nasty chemicals and things like that.
Lovely.
But half of the local reserve firefighters worked in the factory.
Okay.
So they'd set the alarm off. We'd all go to the muster point. You'd see them vanish up the road in the car, come back in their fire service uniform with the blue lights flashing, and then tell us it was a false alarm.
And yet they didn't twig that when they left. Why would you leave knowing it's a false alarm?
Shift bonus wasn't very good that month. They're getting a 50 quid call-out charge.
So
I can understand why they're doing it.
They got paid for it.
They were getting, but I can understand why the fire service want to roll back on that. So we can do a demo of that. We've got a video, but I think we can do a demo because I've got this sensor's quite amazing here. So this looks like a regular alarm sensor. The big difference is it's battery powered.
Okay.
But what I found amazing is it's got a camera in it.
Yes.
But how long the battery life on this?
It's 5 years, and the cameras are, there are two options on here. This is an HDR version, so high definition, and it can send a snapshot of either 3 pictures along, or 1 or 2. But what it's also doing is it's actually coming through to your mobile app and also the monitoring stations. So Ajax works closely with monitoring stations all over the world, and we're able to provide this to the monitoring station secure using Ajax's WINGS protocol. So it's a different protocol to send photo verification through wirelessly using Ajax WINGS technology, which it developed especially for this process.
Yeah. Okay. And we saw it there on the screen. So we saw the fact the heat system or smoke system said, oh, I've got a bit of an issue here. Camera turns on, takes the photograph, gives the snapshot,
yep.
And that then would mean that we've got verification of the fire or not,
yes.
And whether we're going to have anyone go out to that as well. That's just different level, isn't it?
It is, but also not just the photo verification. with Ajax cameras and also with other third-party cameras, Ajax can take the video technology of cameras into scenarios to produce video quality images through to the monitoring station, through to your mobile apps of events as well. So we've got options to put real life high definition cameras and produce scenarios with remote verification as well. Now, if you look at construction sites, for example, this is very important, especially timber frame buildings where you have a real big risk to the building side of it, and also the safety of the construction workers within that project. We can do this now around the world. We're already doing it quite heavily with the security side. We're able to offer that within the construction side as well now on fire.
So a half-built building could have a system in it in case it had a problem and burnt down a half-built building?
Yeah, a lot of the fires, especially within the timber frame industry, a lot of the risk is before the building's constructed. Once it's constructed, then the fire resistance of that building then takes shape and it becomes a compartmented building and the less of a fire risk. But during construction, there is a lot of work that goes on that can cause issues. And it's part of the requirements now to cover those within the construction CDM requirements.
And would that system be taken out and moved to the next one? Or?
Yes.
Okay, so
it's portable.
So where I used to see the whole, I still see them on site, you get that red station with the bell, two fire extinguishers in there. So really, that is completely archaic now compared to where we are. That's the brick versus the iPhone again, isn't it?
It's down to what you assess is appropriate for the risk,
So poured concrete building with steel, probably not the fire risk that you described at the start?
No, not necessarily, but it's down to health and safety during construction as well. There are requirements to provide fire safety and warnings to construction workers.
And also entry onto sites. Something's under construction. If you haven't secured that site and somebody gets onto it, children playing, fall down holes, all sorts of things. So there is a responsibility. So again, the crossover comes in with using the device that Gordon's holding. We've got a PIR that tells us somebody's come in and we're taking a photo and there's kids starting a bonfire and sitting around it on a concrete, So whatever, it's there to do the job.
What you're holding there is the indoor versions. Ajax has developed external versions. So not only can we take images indoors, we can take images externally with our external detection as well.
Earlier detection.
But they're still battery powered as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if Gordon holds that out and I press this button, will that work? Will it? We're doing this live on the camera. Yeah, are you open for that?
I'm absolutely certain this will work.
I don't know how to turn the machine off though when it goes off. Gordon, so I'll flip this one.
Got the right one?
Yeah, we've got the right one here. So
into that, is it?
So you're going to come round as well.
You've always wanted a posh.
No, because these are clever. These, you ain't got to worry about these ones. So I'm going to press this button here. So come in. So I'm going to press this button here. So Gordon.
So you can see the event on the screen there. If we want to move to more events, because there are more alarms coming in, we can go back to that as well. Just going to silence that.
Okay, we've got to reset that as well, haven't we?
And we reset the call point.
Get it right. You nearly didn't. Yeah.
No, I get it right.
Okay.
There we go. Now we can reset the system.
Okay, brilliant. So now, is it on your phone that we can see maybe my device?
It is,
Let's
but
have a look.
you can, with the fire panel that you have there, we have a built-in EN54-certified fire communicator built into that panel.
I'm sure everyone knew that at home.
They all knew that. And
so let's have a look. You got
what
any
we
personal
have
things on there?
No, nothing on there.
I nearly said one of my old jokes. I'm not going to do any of those.
We received the notification there, and there we have.
Oh, there's the culprit.
It's there. Yeah. So you're flicking through. That's the one in it. Yeah. So that's me there bending over. Right. It's good. Love it.
And we can zoom in as well.
Happy days. Lovely. Okay. So we've got effectively. We've got a scallywag press the button on that one if it was looking over.
You would have loved that when you were teaching, when you last day term, when everyone's pushing the buttons.
We didn't have too many problems really, but when I moved to Corby, we did.
Right.
It's sort of like you had to spend more time in the car park than you probably did in your workshop. You were always out there. It was horrendous, absolutely horrendous.
Well, that's a bit of a teaser for the commercial one. I think we just need a little. What else we've been up to? A bit of football. Before we go there, actually, we just need a little recap on the challenge wall, obviously, because.
What was it? Somebody has to sweep up at the end.
Someone has to sweep up at the end of the challenge wall.
Let's see who had the miserable weather. Oh, look at that. And he wished he'd put his jacket on now. He's getting totally drenched through. Thank you very much to Greencable. They're nearly across the complete UK, so keep looking out. Links in the description if you haven't already got one of those bins. They're expanding it all the time. The people at Greencable are phenomenally nice people. One of them's just recently had a car accident. He's on a recovery as well. That's Ed, isn't it? Had the car accident. So great people at Greencable. Everyone in the chat who's in there who's got a Greencable bin, put Greencable in the comments so everyone can see how many people have got one of those already and get some cash for your old cable. Now, talking of prizes, somebody's going to £1,000 Nipex toolkit, but not after week 1. So it doesn't matter where you are after week 1, does it? You might be top of the league, yeah, but nobody gets that, do they? Arsenal at the top of the league or Aston Villa at the start of the year, yeah, no, we're not worried about those. We're worried about the end, but of course, to get to the end, we have to have week 1. Fantasy football will have, hopefully in the future, a special segment. We're going to have Skinhead and Big Deal, okay, coming on the show as well at some point. But this week we haven't got Skinhead, so we've just got our usual presenter for fantasy football in the form of the wonderful Joe Routledge.
The Premier League season is underway, which means one thing. The eFIXX Fantasy League rollercoaster is already making heroes, villains and victims of dodgy captain choices. Some members stormed it, others, well, let's just say their team selections need wiring up properly. More on that later. First up, the Marshall Toughlex Team of the Week goes to Ajax Aces, Ada Campbell, smashing in 89 points with a cheeky bench boost. Special mention to PK Blinders, Felix Batchelor, who wasn't far behind with 83 points. Felix, so close, yet so far. Defence wins titles, and this week it wins Ajax Aces another prize. Ada's backline racked up 49 points. That's sturdier than an EV block. Once it's down, nothing's moving it. Now it's time for the TIS transfer of the week. My recommendation, Bukayo Saka versus Leeds, because nothing says kick off the season like winding up our Leeds-loving pals at TIS, and of course, Rick. Saka is primed for points. But the best transfer this week goes to Up the Toffees, David Cleverly, who brought in Calafiore for a monster 13 points. Cleverly by name, clever by nature. Goals, goals, goals. The fuse box flyer goes to PK Blinders again, Felix Batchelor, whose attack blasted 58 points. Proper blinder that. A special mention to our very own Stephen Hurl, who captained Isak, except Isak didn't even play. 4 points from your captain, Stephen. Outstanding strategy. That's the highlights from this week's eFIXX Fantasy League. Big thanks to all our brand partners for backing the fun, and don't forget to enter the draw for the Nipex Tool of the Week. Links in the description. Speaking of tools, my unofficial pick goes to Gary Hayes, who somehow bottled a huge darts lead and still managed to lose to me. Classic Gary. Until next time, may your captains actually play, may your benches be stacked, and may Leeds continue to disappoint Rick. Hello everyone. Yeah, so thanks to everyone who's got involved with the league. There's currently nearly 400 people in there, and again, thanks to all the great brands that have helped support that for us. It's only game week 1. Obviously, if you've not joined the league, you've lost a few points, but there is an advantage to joining in game week 2 because you already have some information about how the teams are performing. And if you're not a fan of football, you have the opportunity to win a prize a week for 38 weeks, and that's in association with Nipex. I'll just bring this in. So they have a tool of the week. All you have to do is go to the website linked in the description and fill out a form. It'll take you 1 minute. And you'll have an opportunity to win a great tool. That's every week for 38 weeks. So get in there and, yeah, sign up. And I believe that is back to the show.
Okay. Just to let you update on that, Pete Arrow was the first winner of that. I think they're going to let them know, the world's going to know after this as well on Instagram, that he was the first one. If you've nominated yourself in week 1, you filled the form. It took me 20 seconds to fill it in. You will be in for the next 37 weeks. So if you fill it in by the link in the description, which just needs an email address and your name, the reason an email address is to contact you. People often say to me, why do they want my email address? Get all defensive. How will they get in contact with you when they only know your name? So, of course, that would be great. And then you're in for 37 chances to win. And the only way to win a prize, Gordon, is to do what?
Is to enter.
Yes, most people say to us, well, I don't win anything because I don't enter.
Yeah, I don't enter. Yeah, I never win.
Never win.
There you go, and you never will.
No, absolutely not. So before we jump fully into what we've got over here, which is the brand new super duper, no one's seen it before. Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, ever.
Yep.
Linking together now all these things, and we talk about crime, so we'll bring in the CCTV, which then can link into all these aspects. What's the big issues now with crime and why we might want to be considering more of a CCTV within our property?
That's a very good question, Gary, because what we've seen is a real shift in the way crime is taking place in the UK. and this overlaps into how these systems now link. Most people are having security put in place, not just in large houses. The insurance companies have cottoned on that if you've got a particular watch, a few bits of jewellery, they're going to insist you have a safe. They're going to say, we need you to have an NSI, that's the National Security Inspectorate, install an intruder alarm, somebody with those, those capabilities. Some people are adding CCTV, which is great, unless they're wearing balaclavas. So you've got footage. And what we're seeing is the shift. Because of all of those things, it's become very difficult to break into houses. So it's a lot easier under force, and we're seeing the shift from burglary to robbery. For those of you that aren't aware of the difference, burglary is what happens when you're away on holiday. Your house gets burgled. But of course, it's all in the safe, or it's with you. So there's not much really to take. It's not that easy, and they've got to get past the alarms. A lot easier to rob you. Rob you is when you are deprived of your possessions by threat and force. And sometimes that can be violent. And that's where we're seeing the biggest rise and shift in the UK at the moment, because it's a lot easier to grab your wife in the driveway, force her to open the front door with her front door key that she's holding as she got out of her car, tell her to turn the alarm off, take her to the safe, tell her to open it, grab what you want. It's all done in a matter of minutes. So that's why we're seeing this shift. So photo ID and the ability to raise an alarm urgently that sends real information to the relevant emergency services that they can respond to. And again, we come back to the photo ID. Why is that so important? Because an electronic signal via a monitoring station doesn't mean that it's not a fake call, a false call. Having a video that says, hang on, there's a man in a hoodie and a balaclava there, and we send it through to control, we can now, if we haven't already pressed a panic button, have the control room raise it to a grade 1 response for police to come along. And this is where the overlap sits with the Ajax Fire, because the fire brigade are overwhelmed by the number of systems that are connected now, same as the police were years ago. They have to put these delays in place. So this delay now is that they want verification, which we've had in the intruder world for a while. So having photo ID verification, I should say, and now sharing it in the Ajax, if you like, family of products, means we're using one product that's not only doing the intruder alarm, it's got a camera in it that then does the job for the fire alarm.
All right, that's good. And serious crime is very rare in the UK, so please do not have nightmares. Okay, so yeah,
especially Gary's wife. Who's watching.
On her own. The Star Wars figures are under the bed. They're not locked. There were thousands. It's like, yeah, just start panicking. So that's where we've got the full ecosystem. So we're going fire detection, we're going security, we're linking together. We've got verification. All these other bits are coming together. You're doing loads more.
We do lots.
But we've got this brand new, never seen before, haven't we, Pete?
We have, yeah. We have.
Before we get
we're up.
Let's just remember now, what you're looking at here, though, is a fire alarm control
It's an
panel.
iPad.
Yeah, but we've got to picture what you know, the sort of thing you're used to seeing, isn't it? This is by the door. So might be something like that. Might have a row of LEDs, and if the installer's done a half reasonable job, they might have written the zones. And so you'll have a key switch and some LEDs. Yep.
That's what we've been.
That's where we've been.
Yes.
Yep. You used to love fitting them, I'm sure. Yep. Back in the day.
Fish key as well. Love a fish key for emergency
fish
lighting.
key.
Love a panel lights. But we've now got the iPad.
We've now got the Ajax FireHub.
Shall we get up and play? So let's do a bit of playing. So, folks, we've taken the same look. Yeah, we've gone for the horrible look you had domestically and carried it on.
Yeah, we have. So we'll reset the system. So what we've got here is a 10.1-inch touchscreen, full colour, and we've got a device which can do 200 wireless devices.
Okay.
It's fully certified to EN54 standards for the wireless standard, Part 25, and the control standards. What we have in this product is we have Ajax SIM, Ajax dual SIM cards, DP3, DP4.
Yep.
We have connection to Ethernet. We have also Wi-Fi connectivity as well. Okay. And we have the Ajax communicator built into this fire panel. This isn't just any communicator. This is an EN54 Part 21 certified fire communicator. So if you're connecting through to monitoring stations, you need a Part 21 certified product. So, if we reset this one.
Can I cut to the good bit?
Which bit's
I'm
that?
just going to pull back. It's wireless.
It's wireless.
It's Wireless. There are no
completely
wires.
There
It's
are no
completely
wires. No, apart from
This has got no wires.
No wires at all.
Just brake glass. You see those? We saw a lovely one down at Mastabs with a nice piece of red trunking going into it, and this one's
did.
wireless.
Yep.
The only thing that's got power is this. Is that right?
That's correct,
And it's got a
yes.
battery under here, which we'll
Battery
leave in there because I don't want to be obviously responsible for dropping it because it's quite a powerful battery, isn't it?
It is indeed. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So go on. What are you going to do?
So here we go. There's an indication test. So we've got 40 zone LEDs. That's your indication. As I said, full colour graphics. Extremely fast responsive touchscreen on here.
Okay.
It's incredibly fast.
Okay.
We're able to get full log of the system from here. We're also able to get remote management of this system. We can monitor everything on the system from the wireless technology to the battery statuses. Everything is completely accessible through Ajax technology.
It's wireless.
And it's wireless.
So we keep mentioning it's wireless. Look at it, it's beautiful and wireless. So this one here has also got the sounder built into it, has it?
That's a sounder VAD. So a VAD stands for Visual Alarm Device.
Okay.
And this is an EN54 Part 23 device. And the visual alarm devices are certified to provide high light outputs to attract the attention of...
Right, get in there, Paul, come on. Can't hear anything until you get it silenced. Okay.
Okay, so a visual alarm device comes under two categories. There's a category W. A category W means it's been certified for wall mounting.
Okay.
Okay, and a category C means it's been...
For ceiling.
For ceiling. You've got it.
All over this.
You're sharp.
Oh, yes.
You're
You
very
won't catch
sharp.
me out. You won't catch
Not
me
going to catch you out.
So, but why would we want a visual indicator? Obviously, that was pretty loud. I think I heard it.
Okay, so in particular, in the UK, we have the Equality Act. So we need to provide those for impaired hearing. They need visual devices to provide them. And it's normally put in areas of the building which are public areas, maybe like facilities like toilets or somewhere where they could be alone in that area and they'll need a visual indication of an alarm condition. And the brightness of these is where the standard has changed. We need to provide a high background light level that attracts attention. So that's what a VAD does. It attracts attention. If you're not looking at it, you'll see reflections off walls, etc.
Okay.
An extremely high-powered sounder in this device. I mean, it's capable of over 100 dB in its high volume settings. We have 3 volume settings within the device, and the sounders are selectable with 32 tones from the control panel. Quite simply, you select the tone, and automatically the system changes all the tones to a synchronized visual and audible pattern which sounds uniform throughout the whole premises.
Okay, so another visual one. So I'm thinking busy factory, maybe they've introduced hearing protection because obviously the machinery is just too loud and all the rest of it. And all of a sudden now I've got the visual clue, the alarm's going off over the machine. Is that another reason
That's
for
another
it?
reason for it.
Oh,
Exactly.
Right, okay. Oh, well, I went out myself.
You could be a fire alarm engineer, couldn't you?
It's not hard, is it?
Not
Staple
really.
gun. Do you say first aid, you'll get out with the old staple gun. Is that part of it?
It's part of it,
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. We've moved on.
Again, exactly the same, are they?
Not exactly the same,
Right,
no.
okay. Explain the difference.
So these are EN54, European norm standard fire and heat detectors. Again, it has the Ajax dual spectrum optical detectors built in, and that's for steam rejection. So a lot of devices out there were using multi-sensors to combat the problem of steam false alarms. The Ajax optical standard technology solves that problem. We are working on a dual technology, heat and combined smoke, and that's it. But really, really simple system.
Are they locked in place, or have you left these unlocked?
These are unlocked.
Okay, so can we look at the batteries in them then? Because you mentioned the batteries earlier on.
Yeah,
so
of course we can. Well, let's look at
we've got the black one.
We go for the black one because it's a little bit different. Let me just silence this. So as you can see, immediately we've got a tamper condition here, so we've removed the device. On the back here, you've got a locking mechanism here, which is resettable, so you can lock or unlock.
Okay, so that was unlocked in that position, you just spun it off. Otherwise, we need the same key we use for the
No,
glass?
you insert a tool in here, which...
Is it the same one or a different one?
No, it's a different one.
Oh, I haven't seen that tool.
But no, it was a screwdriver.
Oh, why didn't you say a screwdriver?
It's a special device, special knowledge.
Okay.
And in here we have dual compartmentation. So in the UK, you require dual battery backup under the Signs and Signals Act.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a compartment here which is for your change of batteries. So there you go.
Okay, so that's one. There's one this side. I see there's
one there.
Little rubber seal on there. What's
Yeah,
that
that's
for?
a silicon seal, and what that's for is to protect the moisture ingress into this compartment. So we are actually protecting from moisture from the rear of the device, which could enter that chamber. So we've taken lots of precautions to make this as reliable and
We're watching you
user.
struggle at the minute. That's all good fun.
It's all right. We'll put that in.
Go on. You've done it. Well done.
Done. There you go.
Well done. Yeah.
Okay,
I'll pull
and there are
back
two of
now.
those. There are two of those as well.
And how long do they last?
These were 5 years.
each or 5 years a pair?
Total for the pair.
So, so let's talk about, I'm going to sit down now, let's just talk about maintenance then.
Okay.
Okay, because this is now a commercial system.
Yep.
So I've only got a 5-year battery life. How's that work with scheduling? So this is probably where you come in, because this is probably part of your business as well, is it? Providing the maintenance service. Shall we start with you then, Roberto?
Yes, thank you, Gary. So very, very important, because we put systems in, whether it's life safety, whether it's security, and the client has the burden and responsibility of doing their own testing. And they often won't do it well, unless they nearly never do it. So, so if between us going on an annual or a biannual inspection, something were to fail, then we don't know about it. The difference with Ajax is every single device that's on the system, fire sensors, call points, photo ID systems, alarm, CCTV, they feed data live back into our central control. Oh, right. So we know the battery condition of every device, we know if something goes offline, so it means we can be proactive. So you're at home and you think everything's fine, maybe you've been on holiday for 2 weeks and maybe your smoke sensor was chirping away and you've come home and it's completely dead now, but you're none the wiser because it was fine when you left. So having the ability to send that information, so from a maintenance perspective, we are required by regulation to check systems depending on what they are, 6 monthly or annually. And there are certain systems that we do it more aggressively, quarterly and monthly, for special circumstances. However, having that live data feedback, if something goes wrong between a maintenance, knowing that something's gone wrong is the difference between something serious happening and saving the day. So very important.
So I've got a building, whatever the building is, I've got an issue with one element of it.
Yes.
Can we take that one element out maybe remotely so you could turn up in the morning rather than turning up there and then? Is that a thing?
So again, the industry has to have service engineers available round the clock. Having a problem at 3 in the morning and having an engineer remotely able to dial in and say, Mr. Customer, I've removed that component that's failed from the system. You can now arm and use the rest of everything else. So you've got 100 devices. We've removed one offending device, which has been smashed off the wall, damaged or failed, whatever the circumstances. And then, as you rightly say, attend to it the following day. It just makes life a lot easier. In days gone by, as Paul will remember, the early days as I was in the industry, you'd have the pharmacy manager at 5:30 locking up and finding out that there's something wrong with the system. So they put a call in, NSI regs, 4 hours, got to respond to site. The engineer phones up and they phone the emergency service. Engineer speaks to the client and says, oh, it's 5:30 now, I've got about 4 other calls to do. I should be able to be with you by 9:30. So does the pharmacy guy just sit there for 4 hours waiting for the engineer to get there? Often it was to do a reset, wasn't it? Because they fumbled something on the system. So you're talking about saving people time, making lives easier, and again, this whole ecosystem of communication that Ajax have developed takes us into this whole new realm of making life simpler for engineers and for our customers.
So there's no wires to this system, so it was easy to install. I can remotely do anything I like to it to interface it, so I don't have to turn it. You've thought about this, haven't you? You had a little think about this.
There is protection with regards to what you can do remotely, and it is all about responsibility and ownership and privacy. And Ajax has taken account all of that devices. So with regards to asset management remotely and monitoring failures and getting push notifications of things failing or any problem with the system itself, even the wireless signal strength, should be some building alterations happen and there's something changed, we can actually get that information. We can also have remote access to the full logbook. This is every single event. Every time somebody touches that system, the logbook records what they've done, including the engineers. So we actually notify the panel, the engineer's done something, there's been some permission rights changed, there's been some visual verification, there's been done. All of this is logged. It's time and date stamped. It's remotely kept if the system is connected to the Ajax communications platform. It's also available for the client remotely and also available on the fire panel itself. And this logbook, this automatic logbook, is a record of what's gone on. So if an engineer turns up and can look through the log, and he can also see where there's been a trend of problems, he then can jump onto that. Now, the other beautiful thing about this is if you're maintaining a system, you will go to the most efficient way of maintaining by working on what needs to be replaced. So which battery needs to be replaced. You won't then drive away and then a few days later you have a problem. You'll actually work on the efficient management and the future-proofing of that maintenance. You'll work on those devices that need that work in the maintenance program. And that's the same with all fire alarm systems. You would work on efficiently, whether it be wired or hardwired. If you have information, you work efficiently on what's required.
And you've got the data to know.
We have the data.
And that data is really important because every engineer that works on a system, you've got their unique reference and their log on. So if somebody has isolated something that they shouldn't have isolated and something was to fail, whether it was a fire sensor that's been isolated for whatever reason, whether it's an alarm sensor that's been isolated, you know exactly who's done it and at what time they've done it, and that log cannot be tampered with.
Yeah, big brother there, isn't it?
Yeah.
For you, batteries, life, it's about that coming up to the anniversary of the 10-year, isn't it? What's going to happen to those 10-year batteries that we can't get a hold of in those detectors now currently mounted on ceilings all over the UK?
Well, that's what we're waiting to find out. What's going to happen after 10 years? So it's,
Got any insight there for us, Paul?
Well, obviously, when you're looking at the lifespan of fire detectors on residential and commercial systems, it's down to the manufacturer's guidelines. And most manufacturers give a 10-year life for these products. And it's not because they'll fail after 10 years, but there are electronic components inside them, and they will age, and the sensitivities of those devices can change. And that's what it's about, is keeping the devices within sensitivity requirements of the standards. And also, having a product that's older, it could fail at the wrong time. And this is a life safety device. So 10 years is really where the industry has taken its lifespan for detectors. And that's why it's there.
So we're talking the electrolytic capacitors could dry out and things like that. The components in there can start
aging.
But it's almost as if you're saying, without, I don't put words into anyone's mouth, you know, they're going to last 10 years. They're not going to die. So if we get to that 10 years, they've worked perfectly well all the way through. But once we go beyond that, then we've got, if my sister's 13 years out of date, I wouldn't imagine that was a very, precise device that was left on the ceiling.
No, and I think when it comes to maintenance and expendable life of components, the standards require you to inform your clients that those expendable lives have occurred. So the 10-year thing is something that engineers in the UK, within the British standards for fire, commercial fire and or residential, they know to do that. They know to advise their clients when they go there that these devices have come to the end of their life and they need replacing. And that should be documented, it should be communicated to the client.
So how am I going to know then? So my sister didn't, so there was no detection for her, but she had the old 9-volt batteries.
Right.
Okay, and they were in there. Okay, so that's great. But how am I going to know with my solid cell that's in there that that's come to the end of the 10 years? Will it give me a clue?
Yeah, what will happen is, if it's just a standalone system and it's not connected to any communication platform, then you will get the chirping noise.
Okay, how long will that last for?
It lasts for weeks. A month or so.
Oh, right, okay, so it's not a couple and...
It's a 30-day warning.
Yeah, so there's plenty of time for you to change batteries and or replace the device.
That'll be replace the device?
Well, it depends. Depends if it's a replaceable battery, then you can replace the battery. But as you take it down, check the date of manufacture on that device. Because if you've got a device that's 11, 12 years old, you should be changing.
That's the whole education piece that Gary's talking about. How do we know? Yeah. How do the public know they're supposed to do this? We know this as we're professionals in the industry. Somebody that's bought a new house, NHBC, 10 years ago, it came with those smoke sensors. There isn't somewhere, or maybe there is in a handbook, that tells you, don't forget, when our warranty runs out, you need new smoke sensors.
Yeah, we're all thumbing through that warranty book and hand out it.
Did you test your sister's electrical installation after the 10 years it was supposed to be
No,
tested?
and what's incredibly good about it is a plastic consumer, which is nothing wrong with plastic consumers. Nearly said my mum's got one there, but obviously she hasn't. She's got her own fire system in there. I didn't say that either. But it's also incredibly close to the gas pipe. So again, you can't put the consumer unit as close as it is to the gas pipe either. So yeah, we've got a plastic consumer in the kitchen, high level, next to a gas pipe, without a date smoke detectors by 13 years.
There we go, good. So it's pretty horrendous in residential. Do you find the same in the commercial world, or are people generally more attentive to maintenance?
They should be more attentive, but again, this is an engineering issue, and if you haven't got good policing policies to check that your engineers have actually tested every single device, and you've got a log of that being done, there are things that get missed. There are engineers that are time constrained in certain organisations where they've got so much work to do and they've got 300 sensors in a school to go round, and sometimes things get rushed, sometimes things get missed. It's not good enough, because this is precision. If you use the analogy of what you were saying about the batteries in the things hitting 10 years, it's a bit like the tyres on your car. When they get down to 1.6, your car's not going to stop braking, but it's not going to be as efficient as it was. And we talked about the component drift that happens in these sensors. And there is a massive lack of education in our industry for members of the public to realise that actually 10 years is probably your limit. You should be changing it. How often do you have a phone that lasts for 10 years?
No.
Most people change their phone every year or 2 years.
Well, yeah, according to my accountant, I do.
Yes.
So, even though I've got 4 people in my house and we're all one phone generation out, but it looks to my accountant as if I buy one every year. It does, yes. So that's a classic.
You see, so there's a piece
friend does that. Friend.
But that's a piece of technology that we change very, very quickly.
Wouldn't leave it 10 years.
And that's, whilst we're very dependent on phones, it's not going to save our life in a lot of cases where a fire safety and a security system is.
Yeah, that reminds me. Obviously, if I want to. We've got a lot of stuff left plugged in when we're not at home, haven't we? E-bikes, phones, tablets, obviously iPads and things like that.
Yeah.
So when you say about being notified early, it could be one of those devices. And you gave me a really good piece of advice about using phones in relationship to charging. What's that advice?
The advice is it's not recommended for you to use your phone while it's charging. The phone is being used, also it will be charging the battery. It could overheat and it could combust. It's not recommended. There's no safety factors within a phone to stop that from happening. And we're all guilty of using our phone while we're charging it. And there is no safety device to stop you using that phone while you're charging it. So if you've got children that are on their phone while they're charging it, laying in bed, whatever,
getting even warmer.
Absolutely. Or, you know, it's really important that that message gets out, because if we can save one life through that, and the whole way that our homes are populated with products now and chargers, and our way that our life is, the risk has changed.
Oh,
the risk has changed dramatically.
It's much bigger now than it was before.
It is.
Because we've got electric scooters, we've got lithium batteries in so many different devices. And now we're putting them in to support solar systems. And,
well, I'm a bit worried on Gary's actually, because Gary's got one in his downstairs toilet, or as he now calls it, a plant room with
smoke
a basin.
detector above it.
Yeah.
It'll just let nobody in the house know if it's on fire if no one's in there.
Yeah, but your next door neighbour, he doesn't know that, does he? Does he know you've got that?
But he's got new detectors now. One side has. The other side who moved in, we're not at that stage of a relationship yet where he gets any free kit.
Right. We did miss one point, and that was, I mean, we can't extinguish a battery that's got combusted, but of course the Ajax technology has got gas shut-off valves, and I use that in my house. So if I've got an activation from smoke, it automatically cuts the gas supply into the property.
That's good. Yeah, and that's, we haven't even touched on what other stuff you've done. If you think this is good, you're not employing that many people worldwide and just make a few smokes, are you?
No, we're not.
No,
we're not.
Just to recap, this is a full-fat fire alarm system.
Absolutely.
I could put this in a new building and be fully compliant.
Absolutely, yeah.
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 With all the ENs I could ever dream of.
Oh, there's more ENs in there than you can imagine.
And your electricians are giving their client not only a bloody good product, the cost effectiveness of that compared to cabling a system, putting in conventional, addressable or analogue systems.
That's right, Gary's.
So this really becomes a no-brainer for most clients. And if an electrical contractor is going to go out and put this technology in, they're going to have a satisfied client, a happy client. That's the whole point of using it.
Yeah, and a good example is people might be, again, worried about wireless stuff. Nobody's clenching onto their wired phone, are they, with the lead down to the dialing pad? We've gone wireless with our phones. Trust me, this is great stuff, folks. This is where technology is. Now, new builds, okay?
Yep.
So I'm in a new build. I've managed to win a massive housing estate and all the rest of it. I'm thinking I'm just going to bang some wireless stuff in of yours because it's amazing. Can I?
Well, you've got to look at the regulations. With all regulations, there's design regulations and there's maintenance regulations. You need to be competent with fire. Okay, fire competence is very important. I'm a director of the FIA, and we've been pushing that competency, a bit like gas safe. There is no regulation for like fire safe in the UK. However, it all boils down to competency and understanding the regulations, understanding the design factors. It is a fire system and you need to be competent. So Ajax works with professional companies to put these products in. But when it comes to new build technology, and in particular the housing sector, there are regulations to which categories of systems that you put in. Typically, if it's a new build, they'd be looking at the mains powered 10-year battery backed up.
Got to be wired with the 10-year battery?
Absolutely, yeah. The grade D ones, and they would be interlinked onto the system. Now, there's no legislation for them to be monitored. They can be standalone systems, and this system can do that.
But they have to be wired?
But they have to be wired.
Okay, just for those people who may have got that, one-off property and residents thinking, I'm all over this customer, I love it. Great, but you'll just use the wired version and not the wireless version.
Yeah, I mean, every property you will do a risk assessment as to which category of risk you would do. But in general, Airbnbs, landlord associations, or you're renting a property or doing anything like that, or it's a new build, or you're doing extensions to your home under the building regulations, they will require mains-powered battery linked up. It will be in the risk.
Yeah, that's good. Good one to clear up that is. I would hate anyone to go away and start putting something in and thinking...
Well, what amazes me, in a commercial build from you could go wireless, which is like, I mean, for me, is a game changer.
Yeah.
As I say, at the call point, you've thrown your pyro tools away now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you can just put these around. And I mean, you think battery life, I mean, really, these things are never operated unless it's end of term and you're working at college. And I mean, it makes common sense. The batteries, super reliable. I've had wireless lighting control on for like 15 years now and I never changed the battery. But on this, you would know through your system that...
We know exactly where it is.
That battery life.
Do you know whereabouts it is in its life?
Yes.
So you know it's 60%.
It's the same as your iPhone.
Yeah. Same as your iPhone. You know that
or any other phone. There are others.
Absolutely.
Not worth having.
Does this ping the system on a regular basis to let it know it's alive?
Yeah. Because of the legislation. So we're talking about not just wireless systems being developed for the sake of wireless detectors. There's been a lot of work within standards under the Part 25, which is a wireless standard for products. Now, the products have to pass all their individual certification, but the wireless side is the testing of that wireless technology. And there are rules and regulations within fire about polling in times and the reliability and the frequencies of which these devices work. Right. And also the redundancies as well with regards to jamming and failures of them and frequency hopping. So we've got it's not just a basic wireless system. This is a highly intelligent, highly encrypted, highly secure method of communication between the fire panels. And with the Ajax system, we can put in fire rexes, which are range extenders. And with the capability of this system with 5 rexes and the fire panel, we can cover areas in free space of up to 35 kilometres squared.
Right.
That's some lounge.
That's some lounge.
Yeah. Now, we're going about wireless. So say I'd put this in a building, and obviously... Industrial buildings, you don't know, obviously, the range, you put it in, but would it come through the system saying, look, you've got a detector out there at the very edge of the building, it's a bit ropey, the signal coverage, you'd know that.
You'd actually know that.
Right.
Straight away. And what you've actually got within each of the devices within the system, you can go into a survey mode. So through the control panel, or through the apps, or through your Desktop Pro, which is the Ajax professional monitoring system. And it's also a tool for managing companies as well, and their engineers, and their permission rights as a company, as a professional installer. And what we can do is set up that device to go into a survey mode. So the control panel on the range extenders actually talk to that device in real time. So we're talking about accurate, fast polling. And we can get the status of that level of communication in real time back to know whether that's actually within tolerances or out of tolerances. And we will get that information. And this is part of your surveying requirements when you do a system. So you need to survey the site to make sure that you're within range and everything. Now, once it's set up and it's running, it continuously checks its survey range. Now, what you can actually do is remotely check that the wireless signals are not changing. So not only can we actually put it in during commissioning, see it on site, we're actually monitoring it in real time all the time. So if there are changes in there, we will get notification.
So it's a very important point. When we go to sites to put a radio technology system in from Ajax, we test that we've got full signal strength from each location where we're going to pinpoint a unit back to the system. Once it's installed, or you go back to install, there are occasions when you find one device suddenly doesn't have the signal strength that it had when we were there before. And then you learn that they've done something different, like they've put some other construction in
Gary's
the way
put
of
the
something.
filing cabinets, he's been moving the
He's
office
put his
around.
battery pack in the way.
Yeah.
But then again, not only at install, even after install, you solve all the problem and you've got full signal strength everywhere. It could be 6 months later that there's an event change on site. The client's never going to phone you up and say, we've put a porta cabin between the garage and the house. No. And now the signal that was fine in the garage to the house, even though it's only 100 yards away, we've put a building in the middle and we've blocked it. So as soon as you lose signal, you get an alert.
Mm. Sales opportunity, sounds like to me.
Yeah.
Sales,
it's not an
sales
alert,
call.
it's a sales call. I like that. Any questions, Gordon, coming through here? Because I'd imagine we've had a few. Who's top of the question leaderboard? Can you see that for me? Who's up there in the top 5?
It is Roy Horn at number 3, Test Rigs number 2, and it was still...
Is that Test Rigs UK?
Yes, Test Rigs UK.
I need a call with you at some point, young man, to work out when I'm going to get my ring final circuit rig. Unless Hammond's rang you, and Hammond would have requested it being sent to Lincoln. If
We've got Sergey at head office. We've got Sergey.
Sergey, yeah.
Oh,
Massive
Sergey.
fan of...
Yes, massive fan.
Massive fan. First time he's
you've
ever
got to
been
say
on.
you've got to say hello to Sergey and Vlada actually, because I think they're watching.
Go on, say
Yeah.
address the camera. You're up there.
They want it from you, not from me.
Oh, I'm never going to do the names.
Sergey
Sergey.
and Vlada.
Vlada, thank you very much for joining us this evening. I'm sure you join us every fortnight, but this one was a little bit special. So thank you very much for returning to it. Yeah, hopefully lots more bit. What a learning journey. What a journey we've been on today, Gordon. Would you agree this is the most we've ever learned?
Yeah, I mean, just one question. Yeah? Can you get it with a thermal printer at the bottom to spew out error messages down the bottom?
Like a receipt.
You don't need a thermal
need them
printer.
anymore.
You don't need a thermal printer anymore. But by the way, on the Ajax Desktop Pro, you can set up auto maintenance reports. Right. So we can electronically send that data wherever you want by fax.
To his thermal printer.
Completely, yeah. Or
Showing your age there, you meant telex.
No.
No,
I meant fax.
Of course, if you want that faxed across to somebody, we can.
When did that stop being a thing?
What's that?
You used to have to take things down and say, can you please fax this to someone? Well, there must have been a day when you went down there and it just wasn't there, was it?
You may have some younger viewers that you need me to explain what a fax is.
I'm sure we have,
Yeah, I mean, I think, as I say, I think...
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's
And I like it.
Just one of the boxes we didn't touch on. This little module here. This is your route into the wired world, isn't it?
Yeah, this is a route into the wild. So that's a dual input-output unit. Let's take it off. Let's have a look at it.
Yeah, go on, keep talking, because remember...
Are you going to do this?
It's the kind of thing. So the people ask us, is the modern day, Roberto, equivalent
Can you time him on this?
of the Gary, you're making a mess. You need a screwdriver for that. What a mess.
Well, I'm trying. You keep talking. Choose a different camera if you don't want to embarrass
the
me.
timer's gone now. The countdown timer's gone.
So this is a dual input-output unit. So it's an EN54 Part 18, Part 25 device.
That's what I thought it was.
And what we've got is 2 monitored inputs. Let me silence this for you.
Thank you.
You've got 2 monitored inputs and you've got 2 programmable output units. Okay. And the ratings of those contacts are 8 amps mains rated. And what we would use this for, we have various programmable functions in terms of bistable, pulsed outputs, inputs fully monitored. So we're monitoring the status of inputs, whether that be fire or fault conditions from a third-party device. And we're able to, during the fire condition, change those outputs to either fail-safe functionality or normal functionality. And this would be for controlling devices that are integrated into the fire solution strategy. So this could be bringing a lift down to the ground floor or down to a floor of safe level, or it could be for AOVs, it could be for controlling magnetic door holders on fire escape doors. Now, bearing in mind, my big issue with controlling fire doors is that fire doors are there for a reason. It's a privilege to hold a fire door open. Mm-hmm. If you have a fault on the smoke detectors, either side of that fire door, that must close, because that fire door is there to protect your compartmentation. So just a general thing out there, holding open a fire door comes with huge responsibilities. So if you're doing this, make sure you'll know what you're doing. There is actually a standard for this, which is 7273 Part 4, and there are fail-safe requirements from the fire system to control those doors under fault conditions. and that's something we take very seriously. So just something to be aware of out there.
Gary always uses a fire extinguisher.
Yeah, because
the door
of the door. Mate, you got a chance, and the fire door's open, the fire extinguisher, you're already on clover. So this is obviously battery powered, but obviously we're mains in, mains out. It's the understanding it's there is wireless, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
And the thing for me, the modern day equivalent of this, we get asked a lot for people, is you could use that to link into a solar system to activate a shutdown system.
Absolutely.
Panels
Yeah.
on. That's your modern day equivalent of the gas valve.
And I think it's very important. It's very important when you're having changes to any building, whether it be a residential property or a commercial building, if you're adding things into that building, like for example, solar installation on a residential building. Now, part of that package is protecting that roof space and controlling that solar when there's things going wrong. And it's a requirement to actually add additional detection into a solar installation. Now that's really important for anybody out there having that work done. That really is a big change to your building, and there's a big risk to that. And managing that risk with automatic control, scenarios, shutdowns, safety is very important. And the fire detection, smoke alarm systems is very important in that. And it can play a huge part in life safety.
Yeah. I can see it's going bigger and bigger and bigger because, like we said, every property costs a lot of money. There is no such thing as an expensive property because there's no such thing as a cheap one. So you can see more and more over a period of time that actually insurance companies, maybe as people take properties on new, I'm owning this property for the first time, you could see them putting extra layers in or at least bringing down premiums with a better system in there.
Oh, clearly there's going to be some impact. One of the things that we've noticed in pricing up using Ajax technology, because of this shift from the labour intensiveness, and as long as you're trained and you know what you're doing to put them together, you get quicker. A bit like trying to wire that thing. My first attempt was pretty useless. You repeat something, you learn it, and you get quicker. And this really scores goals when you start thinking about an electrical contractor giving a price to a main contractor to provide a fire system.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, they can call a specialist like us that knows what they're doing with it, and they can still put margin on there and still have a price of a system that is very easy to fit in with the client expectation.
And they're virtually just licking and sticking, aren't they? Just going round.
I'd be doing that.
Look at that, just,
down those wired systems, trying to swap the specification.
Two screws,
all the containment,
two screws, move on. Two screws, move on. Licking and sticking. Yeah. Hop, bang, hop, bang.
It's always been a great relationship between really specialist electrical contractors installing systems and a specialist provider competent with certification on the fire side of things to actually certificate their systems for them. And there's been a great relationship over many years between that path as well. And many good electrical companies that are specialists in fire as well. So, you know, we're talking about competent system, competency and design, competency in the installation, competency in commissioning the system, and competence in the paperwork associated and the notification of the client with regard and the ongoing maintenance to keep that system designed to do the job it was to do. So really important part of it now. And they could spend their time on the competency side with that and less time on the less labour-intensive side.
You remove all that.
And on that note, labour intensive, okay? Fit this system, become a licker and a sticker. I'll come and join you. I'll come out of retirement. I can do 2 screws. I'll have a drill in one hand and I'll have my screwdriver in the other. I'll even use a powered one, okay? It's an incredible system. You've probably never heard of it before. And if you want to know how to find out about these systems, we'll have a link in the description where you can see all the people where you can get the product from. It's not going to necessarily be your local electrical wholesaler. The list is on the website. We've got a link in the description. You go over there and check it.
Yeah.
We'd love to thank Pete for coming in, but your name's Paul, so imagine that right early on you got a Pete thrown at you. So Paul, it's been fantastic. Your knowledge has been exceptional. You wouldn't have known you only worked there 18 months because, I mean, you are brilliant. You've been sensational, Roberto. You've been probably the top 10 guests of all time. You're certainly the most handsome. You're number 1 in the handsome rate. But again, what a great business and what a great solution you've discovered that makes obviously life easy for your installers, but obviously gives some high-end for your high-end clients and a solution that works on all the new levels and things we didn't understand, did we, Gordon?
Yep.
You might have a fire at home, but unless your neighbours are telling someone, we ain't coming out. We've got a wonderful song to end with. We're going to be back in a fortnight where we're delving in the world of EV. I know it's not everyone's favourite subject, but who would have thought fire was this exciting and sexy until these two come in? So I can guarantee you next time he won't be any sexier, but we'll be into looking at EV with the great people from Rolex. Let's roll the end credits. Thank you very much. See you in a fortnight.
Who said fire alarms can't turn heads? Ajax just flipped what the rule book says. Smoke, heat, and carbon, all in one brain, with looks so slick, it's hard to complain. App in your hand, alerts on the fly. This ain't the fire alarm you used to buy. Minimal wires, wireless class, ink EN54, it's built to last. Fire alarms, but not as you know. With Ajax Tech, the standards grow from flats to firms, from homes to halls. It's smart, it's sharp, it answers the call. So if you're still fitting old school gear, Sparks, it's time to shift a gear.